Army pub tent and Army cot mashup project. The first time I camped out on my property before I moved out here, I made a frame from conduit to set up the Army surplus tent into the back of my pickup truck. The second time I camped on the property, I noticed the tent posts would go through these holes in the end of the Army cot. This cot is from Cabela's. It's an improvement of the original Army cot. I think these extra holes are for rigging a mosquito net frame. Anyway, turns out the Army tent posts also fit into the holes on the cot. Next, I found that 3/4 inch black flex pipe sort of fits over the end of the posts, and then I could bend conduit and slide it into the black pipe. Sorry, since the wind noise is so bad on this video, I'll just try to give you an idea what's happening. This won't be a step-by-step, but hopefully it'll give you an idea how to do something like this for your own project. Alright, here we go. The first time I camped out on the property before I moved out here, I rigged up my Army tent, it's a 2-man pup tent, with a conduit frame attached to the truck itself. I dropped the conduit down the stake beds, I think, and then I had to bungee it down to the truck to keep it from flying away. The second time out, and the first time I used the Army cot inside the tent. The second time out, I figured out that a combination of, these are the posts, the stakes that you hold up the tent with. They break into pieces. I think you use 3 high, 2 or 3 high. But on this Army tent, at least, it's got holes drilled in the frame for, I think, a mosquito net rig. Well, they happen to fit this. So you got a big hole on top and a smaller hole on bottom on the end frame. And those just drop in. So it's nice. So I figured out, I combined some conduit, 1/2 inch, some 3/4 inch black polyurethane pipe, or I think that's what it's called, some kind of black polyflex, and the tent post. This attaches to the bed. From that, take another piece of conduit, I purposely leave that bolt a little bit too long. That's a 1/4 inch by, I think, 2 or 2.5 inch bolt. Leave it long. Do the same on the front. Now I've got a nice, fairly sturdy tent that's attached to the bed. So if I'm laying in it, it's not going to blow away. Okay? And then I can throw some bungees or cargo straps or whatever if I need to. Well, I'm looking at if I can make any kind of improvement on it for now. So this is what the piece looks like that's here, and it just slip fits over. This is fairly loose. This is a really tight fit. Okay, I've been making a few bends. I actually bought a real conduit bender at one point. I think I bought this when I was making the first version of the truck tarp tent project. So that's where that came from. I'm just using a little recip saw. That seems to work pretty good. Alright, so I've got a 45 bend on that end, and I'm going to squash this end flat. Somewhere there. So I'm going to smash it flat and then I'll drill it. Either one would be fine. An anvil would be great. I've got a bumper on the front of the school bus, so let's just use that. Okay, now you got it flat. So what I'm looking at is kind of where I put it last time. That seemed to work okay. So I'm going to make a mark where, that seam was probably a good center mark actually. So we'll make it like that. And this is an approximation, so how about somewhere in there? I'm going to do this like a bushcraft video for urban camping. Okay, stepper bit. You got choices. hardware I'm using is a 1/4 inch hardware. I try to standardize on 1 or 2 sizes. I think right now I've got 1/4, 5/16, and 3/8. 1/4 is plenty for what we're doing here. So you could go get a 1/4 inch bit, but that makes the holes really tight putting it together. So you could go oversized. A 5/16 makes it a lot easier to put together. What I like about the stepper bit is it starts off small. So you end up with like a pilot hole, and then it gets a little bit bigger. And then when you're done, you flip it around on the other side, and you can deburr the hole with the same bit. All right. There we go. You'll hear the sound change as you go through each layer of the bit. It goes in steps, that's why it's called a stepper bit. If you drill it from both sides with the stepper bit, it pretty much takes care of any burr you got. I drilled it a little bit big, that'll make it easy to put together. I don't care if this is sloppy, especially on this job, so that's it. So we're gonna make 3 more just like that, but before I do that, I'm gonna test this one and see if I like how it's looking. Okay, so if we set that, and then on the conduit it just slip fits. Alright, so that's where we want it. Now this is fairly straight. Take it apart, just like that. So this part will keep the pipe, it'll just stay on there. Kind of hold on to the tool, put your foot on it, let the tool do the work for you. Now the last part I want to stop at 45, so there's a 45 mark there. They're pretty good. So this line is in line with the pipe at 45. It's pretty close. Okay, I think it's about 11:30. I'm done. This is not going to be permanently attached to the truck. I'm not going to drive with it this way. On this tent, normally you'd go in from the end where the flap is. But what I found worked out really good. Just crawl in the side. It's a lot easier. So set your sleeping bag so that the zipper's on this side, and you're set, right? This is where your tent pegs would go. On that side, I hooked these around the feet of under the army cot, so that way you slip up the side, crawl in, and then just drop it down. This is, military spec. This is an Army surplus tent. It's heavy duty. It's not going to shred in the wind. And the weight of it tends to pull it back down again. You can see it's bouncing around in the wind pretty good. I think from here, if I slide the bed to the back a little bit, lift the whole thing off. Oh, I got the pipe. Oops. What I used to do when I camped in this, if you hold on to the top edge, hold it, and then take the ends and fold them back. I'm sure the Army guys have a better way to do this. I just kind of folded it a couple times. Alright, that's the tent, that's good enough. That's going to go in the back of the truck. I don't know if there's an advantage or disadvantage here, but these just slide off. We're going to leave these parts together. Pipe I'm going to leave on here. Okay, the tent is done. This was the cross piece. This kind of fell down. I don't think I'll put that in the back of the truck. I'll just keep that in the back. Or I don't think I'll put it in the cab. I'll put it in the back. Now this, the end pieces, piece comes off. you got the tension off, this comes off real easy. There's some finger grabbers in here, so you gotta be careful when you pick it up. We're done. The hardest part is getting it in the back of the truck some days. That's it. All of that will fit behind the seat of the truck. And except for the long pipe. That's all there is to it. That ain't bad. So yeah, from there I'll just set this behind the seat and we're good to go. There's enough room to set the bed on one side and then have the other side open. The other side you could throw your cooler, your camp box, camp stove. Some of that you could put under the bed also. Part of this I was looking at, and if you've been watching the channel for any length of time, you've seen this, all right? The white part was version 3 of the truck camper that I built. So right now I'm just using that as shade to keep the tank out of the sun so it doesn't get screwed up in the sun. Two things: I never really liked that camper shell on the back of the truck. I had a hard time seeing out. And also, if I had something permanent on the back of the truck, I can't haul the water tank when I need it. So that's one of the reasons I'm trying really hard not to do another camper shell. Yeah.